Hey everybody, welcome to the nightly vid. Tonight we're just going to talk about things that are going and things that are setting up to get going. So the first thing is we're going to look at just the monthly signals in force to start the new month. We can also take a look at the quarterlies to start the new quarter. What we'll see for the most part is staples are some of the few taking last month's lows, mostly in the consumer defensive, where we're going to see XLP, CL, which you can see a big monthly PMG. If we go to the weekly chart, you can see some corrective activity, no daily signals, so we'll see if it sets up. If we go to KO, Coca-Cola, it is a 3-1 on the day, which could 3-2 the week if they're going to recover that for the 3-2-2. So we'll keep an eye on that. If we reclaim last week's lows, so we can set the alert over here. If we go to MDLZ in the defensives, you can see a little weaker there still. If you go to like a 2-day chart, inside bar in the month, 2 month back down. If we go to MO, you can see 2 down on the month. Also maybe a 3-2-2 to start the week next week to firm up, but you know, kind of just a doji at this point. So we'll see if the staples continue to be weak or not. If we go to things taking last month's highs now, you're going to have things like NVIDIA, which we talked about, the inside month PMG. You had the weekly to break it, so see if they confirm or negate that. And no daily signals. If we go to ANW in the tech, we added that late for the stat members to the Rev Strat week, and you can see they just exploded. The 1-2-2, boom, gives you the outside month, and that was a late add to the list for the stat members in the Discord. In the tech sector, if you go to PDD in the China sector, you got PDD inside week. So we'll see if that gets going to confirm China. On a 2-day chart, you got nothing. You might see the 2-2 on the 3-day chart setting up into Tuesday, but that's about it. So we will see in the tech, we got team inside month and up coming back through previous range with the quarter in force, and you're going to need some triangle layout in there. If we go to target consumer defensive, this is the staples, except it's inside month up. So showing natural buying target, something that we can say in the staples here, 3-1-2. And then on the week, we go to like a 2-week chart. You got nothing really to talk about there. If we go to, sorry, I'm squinting here. Wells Fargo in the financials inside month and up, and we'll have more of those. We'll see things like Citigroup inside month and up. Bank of America's continuation. Goldman Sachs was on the weekend vid last week. What did we talk about? The 505 call weeklies in here, and those exploded, closing the week $10 in the money. So those went a nice big move for you with JP Morgan earnings. So we'll have bank earnings next week as well. So want to be aware of that. We got JPM also 3-2 up on the month. So a lot of financials with the XLF momentum continuation that we'll keep an eye on as bank earnings play out. If we go to the energies, and we talked about a lot of those. We saw a lot of triangle out. So we had the gap down buy in the energies, given they're on the monthly buy list with the 2 months and as well the quarterlies. Gap down buy, we get after that, and then 2 up, it's still good, still going. That's CVX. If you go to EOG, still good on the month, trying to get the quarter moving. It's kind of a chop shop in there. You go to SLOB, you got this nice monthly hammer with some potentially a lot bigger range in here. And most of these will be a momentum hammer weeks. So they had the 2 up in red, but that's corrective activity unless it reverses. So they did not reverse. You go to XLE, you'll see the Momo hammer. You go to XOM, the momentum hammer a little bit, right? You go to OIH, momentum hammer as well, and they always got the monthly up, so we want to go after that. And then XOM will also be in there as one of the strongest ones, and the one we were picking out in the stat trading Discord room. Outside of that, there's a few tech we missed. So Snow in the tech is 2 month, big old monthly try, so we'll see. And then SNPS 2 month has been higher as well, so 2 month back through previous range. So we'll see if we get continuation in the tech next week. It's really a simple scan. You can either scan in force on the month and just go through the list, or you can scan tech 2 up week. You also scan energies 2 up week, and those are gonna be their strongest stuff to go after in there, taking last month's highs. And when we look at the indexes with the 2 months, it's gonna be staples down, energies up, XOP up, and that's about it for monthly signals. So energies are a definite simultaneous break for us this month, and that weekly would confirm it. That being said, going into the new week, we can take a look and see where are the inside weeks to confirm or negate last week's big move. And in there, we're going to see communications inside week, which tells you the communications holdings. And looks like that's something we can scan here. So we'll scan inside week communications. And there's 22 of them in, or actually, oops. So there's actually going to be 2 of them communications that are also inside, which is para, not really close to anything good. And then EA, which is triple inside week, inside month, inside quarter at this point, and 2 up years. So maybe off the triple inside, EA gets moving. We will see. You can see it's kind of been a barcode in here, so you just got to be aware of that. In the communications, we can scan and see, well, is there any setups that are 2 down and green into next week here? And we'll see a few. Nothing really to write home about in CMCSA. If we got an IPG, also nothing to really write home about in there. If we got NWS, OMC, meh, Z scalar has the hammer week, has been higher. It's kind of, you know, chopping this year, but it did start off pretty green. It's just an inside month still. So there's not really too much to talk about in communications there. If we go to the holdings like Meta was, you know, slightly red. Google, 2 down in red. So, you know, not too much we can talk about in the communications this week, although they have the inside signal. We will keep an eye on that and see, you know, do things get moving there, but not much to talk about. That being said, we'll take a look at the patterns. 3-2-2s, the 2 down in green hammer. We've got a few in the defensives, along with Coca-Cola, so CHD. This is something we want to know about. And you'll see the slight lower low and the higher highs. So 3-2-2, fun to say, fun to do. Gives you about 378. Go to GRMN in the technologies. Garmin, this one has been a pretty crazy one this year. It did make all-time highs, so be aware of that exhaustion risk. But you'll see on the week, slight higher low. So there are 2 weeks of sellers. Take these guys out. Potential 2-2 next week. Should give you about 5% of magnitude. More consumer defensive, we'll have MKC. And that's McCormick. If you go to Monster, also consumer defensive, 3-2-2. So the XLPs with Coca-Cola, you got potential 3-2-2 simultaneous breaks. So we have the energies continuation in there. We already got that. We will talk about HII shortly. Just gonna go like this, make that a little more organized in here. And you can see I'm starting to track a lot. And this is kind of a, what you call it? This is kind of a written list of how my brain is working when I'm looking at this stuff, minus the gappers in here. But this is kind of how my brain works. This is what we got all as something we're looking for. That being said, for the weekly or the weekend vid, we will have XLP. 3-2-2s, we'll have Coca-Cola, MKC, Monster to go after. And then we will also have, you know, CHD, GRMN. Leave that up here. Just on the 3-2-2 list. And that's 2 down in green hammer. We can also scan 2 down in green. See if we have more, and it looks like we do. So we'll see Apple in there. Maybe a 3-2-2, which could trigger the momentum hammer month. It is still 3-2 up years, so they could get going. Looks like the real estate sector, maybe a 2-2 next week. CCI, CBRE, are going to be 3-2-2s. CCI is a little bit worse in there. EXPD, industrials, potentially. If we go to IFF in the materials sector, that's one thing we'll have to talk about today. There's a lot of 3-2-2s for next week. So a lot of things are close to actionable signal to confirm next week, which tells us we can follow through. With all these 3-2-2s setting up. Norfolk Southern, a lot of people that like trading the industrials. You got the PMG in there. So there's going to be too much for me to talk about in tonight's vid as far as the 3-2-2s are concerned. So what you can do, when we have a lot of 3-2-2s, you can scan. And this is why we say, like, we do our prep to know what the charts look like overall. But what we're doing is we're scanning ourselves. Who's taking last week's highs? We go after those. So whoever's not really isn't that strong. We'll have specific things on the list. Like we'll see the staples maybe, right? And CHD and Garmin, which are pretty nice movers, specifically Garmin. And things that we already know about, that we're already trading or in, But we want to know things that are moving, right? So we're going to scan next week and we'll say who's 322 and 4 since there's so many of them. We can also look bearish. This video I can already tell is going to be pretty long. So not much there, just Berg B, we go shooter. PSA in the real estate. So real estates are a little conflicted. Let's see. Yeah, it's just continuation. So nothing too much else there to talk about. If we go to 2, or not 1, 2, 1, we can go to Rev Strats in here, look for hammers. We'll have some of those. You can see a lot of materials. So this is something I'm excited to talk about here. The next simultaneous break. So in the material XLB, you'll see the Rev Strat for next week with full time frame continuity if that month changes with the Rev Strat magnitude. So we want to know about that. It tells you CE, potential Rev Strat week to trigger the PMG month, CE. We want to know about that. So we're going to add this to the list here. So we'll have CE, you'll have DuPont, double D in here. We're going to start calling it that. It's still inside month and quarter, so we'll be aware of that, but still early. If we go to OLN, which is something we were talking about, you'll see the 2-2. And on the daily, we mentioned the 2-2 in here to get the swing traders in there. And it's been a grind, right? But they're still accumulating that. Even though the week was red, they're going after it. So above the Rev Strat week here, we'd trigger the macro 3-2-2 on the quarter. We want to know about that, right? And so you'd have the day continuation to trigger the week, to trigger the month 3-2, to trigger the quarter back to the previous range. So I want to know about that for sure. And then tech also on the macro, you'll see this. The month inside still, the week, potential 1-2-2 Rev Strat. And we don't have as much magnitude in here, at least not on the week. But you will see the broadening formation. So 1-2 above that, we want to know about it. And then on the quarter, we have the hammer, and it has been higher. So you got some room to go here, 17% from the quarter trigger on tech. So that's something we want to know about. 3-2 or 1-2 bullish. We'll also see TSN, which does have the Rev Strat. It is closer, or actually did go 3-2 down month. So you might get a 3-3 in TSN. They haven't taken out these lows yet, which I would have preferred, but we'll see. You just got this big try, which we'd like to see follow through one more time. When I look at this, what I see is we haven't stopped out all these guys up in here. So there's a chance we go 3-3 month, take these guys out, and then 3-3-3 and bring them back again. So we'll see. You know, it's up to the trader if you're going to focus on that. And then there's some more cyclicals. So more staples, or actually not cyclicals, is XLY cyclicals. And it's kind of some nobodies in there. GPC, not the worst looking chart, but kind of a chop shop. So really like those materials, and we'll see the staples on the Rev Strats and 3-2-2s, which is fun to say and fun to do. We can also look for 2-2-2s and see what we've got setting up in there. So ATO in the utility sector, it's potential continuation across all these time frames. We go healthcares. Meh. Industrials, DE. So DE could be a good one because that would cause expansion after corrective activity. So if you're a Dow Jones guy, something a lot of people focus on is that Dow Jones index. If we go to EG in the financials, wow, that's quite the hammer in EG. So could be a pretty crazy one as an inside day into Monday. If we go to NUE in the basic materials, it's also setting up to reconfirm its hammer month with the rest of the materials sector. So potentially gets going again. No daily signal though. Silver, something I like. Silver, we have the quarter up, we have the year up. So you can see they first trigger the quarter inside bar up, didn't go anywhere. Brings them back in triangle day out. Now we got the hammer week to try and give them a go again. So we want to know about that in the materials sector. We can also have silver / gold for the 2-2s. And silver, you can see, sets up that. Gold sets up the 2-2 as well. And these all, you got yearly signal gold, silver, you got the yearly signal. And we talked about that before it broke, remember? And you'll see the quarterly has the inside signal confirming the year. And now we got a week to confirm the quarter, confirm the year. So we want to know about that for sure. And guess what? We also capped the low in here. We got the inside day up in gold and silver at the same time to cause the reclaim. And you'll see on the list in here, you got gold and silver with 2-1-2 day reclaim macro plus the daily reclaim when that inside bar broke. So we knew to go after that to set up that hammer week because signals can create signals later in the week. Pretty cool. Outside of that, maybe VRSN, but you know, we got more than enough in the material sector and the staples to hold us off for next week. And of course, we have the bank earnings, so we'll be aware of that. But that's all I've got for you guys. Here's the final list down here for the weekend vid. I will see you guys bright and early on Monday for those in stat. Sarah is still without power in Florida, so thoughts and prayers for Sarah. But that being said, have a great rest of your night. I'll see you guys then.